Hello.
Hello.
Today we are going to dance with Matilda Bilberg, and I'm super excited about this because you're in the choreography MA, and I've sort of been following a little bit your class coming in and stuff, and now you're halfway through your second year, so half a year left. So I really wanted to invite you to get closer to your dance and also to share a little bit more of your dance with everyone else. Who are you? How do you introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
I was very happy for that invitation. I'm Matilda, like you perfectly introduced me as, and who am I? I'm a human being, caring a lot for other human beings. And like you said, at the moment I'm doing my master in choreography at the University of Arts in Stockholm. And when I'm not doing that, I am improvising and freelancing as a dance artist, which for me means that I work as a dancer for others. I also make my own dances and choreographies, and I'm teaching and curating, supporting and facilitating for dance to happen.
Yeah, you've been in the Stockholm scene for, I feel like, as long as I've been here.
I think so, kind of, yes. For maybe around 10 years.
Yeah.
This has been my base, even though I've been working also a lot in other places. But yeah.
And so what are we going to do today?
I thought of proposing a score but it's a practice that is an open dance with our back as our front.
Okay, yeah.
So within that there's basically two concepts. And the first one is the open dance, which I did for the first time with Martin Kilvadi many years ago in Brussels. And the invitation then was that it's open and it's dancing. So whatever you're doing, you consider that being dance. And you allow yourself to travel through all shapes and forms and emotions and states. And then I've also been doing open dances with Elinor Bauer, from whom I'm bringing with me this attention follows movement, movement follows attention. So it's that with the idea of our back as our front. Yeah. It sounds really
detailed, and maybe we'll get into more of the detail in the reflections. But already, this feels like a very I don't think I've come across the term open dance. So and that just means to appreciate everything that you're doing as dance.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. And then for this dance, you want our attention to be on working as if our back is our front.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And is there anything more that we should think about before we start?
No, I think that's enough.
Yeah, it's already a lot.
Yeah, we start there.
And how long shall we do this for? Or how long would you recommend people at home would do this for?
I think for me usually it takes a little bit of time to get into it. So I would say minimum 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's do 20 minutes today.
Yeah.
And then you can go for as long as you want if you're at home.
Yeah, it feels like one of those ones to return to. Cool.
Yeah.
Then we'll pause. You can pause at home and have a go if you wish. And we'll come back in about 20 minutes.
Cool.
And we're back. So
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. So one of the things that I was really curious of was how immediately it draws me to think like to create a new body because my front isn't my back. So there's something about reconfiguring movement and understanding and stuff. So my question I wanted to ask first was, how is it? But also, do you do this often? And how has it been to return to it if you have?
Yeah, I'm doing it quite often. And I was doing it a lot last spring. And then I kind of took a break from it, and I came back to it now in October, and it was super difficult because I felt that I came somewhere by doing it a lot during the spring, and now I was like, oh, wow, okay, starting from scratch. But of course, you don't start from scratch.
Yeah.
It took me a few rounds, and then I was back into it.
Yeah.
But it resonates with me what you say. This like of refiguring out the body, kind of.
But where do you get to when it becomes figured? Because at some point, like what does at some point you become familiar with back being front.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I have reached yet the moment where it's figured.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I keep on like breaking it down into smaller and smaller parts, and I'm going to like specific body parts and ideas and concept of what's behind and the back, and that keeps I think this investigation or experience going.
Yeah, there is an impossibility perhaps like
totally,
to achieve. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly, because like you said in the beginning, our back is not our front.
Yes.
And that is also a question then, what is our front?
Yes. I mean, it definitely occurred for me. I was so like, wait, what is front? And also then if then back is front, then how can front be back as well? Like how can the support of the body, maybe that I feel through the spine and the back of the body, be recognized or facilitated in the front? I think the thing that I was really curious about was like there is especially like because I'm doing it for the first time maybe, or first time in a long time, or in this specific way, like there's a sense of like I like your breaking of habits and coming out of those things. And I was curious if new habits form within the practice, I guess.
Oh yes, for sure. I've already noticed how I'm moving my shoulder blades or pelvis very differently.
Yeah.
Especially when I start thinking of my back as my front.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I me personally haven't been so busy with making the front a back.
Okay, yeah.
But more of like, what can I let go of in the front in order for the back to be?
Yeah.
Or how can I relax the front side of my body that is so often like very keep on going forward all the time and kind of like holding a lot of tension and showing up in a certain way and there's almost like a hierarchy in the body there.
Yeah, definitely.
I just like want to rock a bit.
Yes. No, I completely get that. Sorry, it really resonates. I know because one thing I was like, because the first one thinks of the head perhaps because the eyes are front, and then one has to consider how would one perceive backwards. Yeah. And in fact, I think I started there, but quickly moved into whole body. Yeah. And then towards the end, I returned there and realized, oh wait, there's sort of the nose which sort of orientates the angle of the head, and then there's the jaw, which has like where the voice comes out. And actually, there was that we played music, which
we did,
which I guess you can do it with or without music.
Totally.
But they were talking about the mouth in the song, and I had to think of, how do I articulate voice from the back of the neck rather than the thing? And I mean, I guess it also asks like, is it a 1-to-1 ratio as well? I didn't really get into that. Like, can my can my head start to be the shoulder blades? But and then another thing that was really apparent is like the hands, because they're so like central in
the front of our bodies. Yes, I know. We use them in front of us kind of all the time. And they also only bend in one way.
Yes.
Unless you like press them the other direction.
Yes. But also
many of our joints do also bend
only
one way and not towards the back or.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's super tough.
Please don't go there. Don't protect yourself.
No, exactly. But I was really aware of how like just the nerve endings in the palms of our hands are so sensitive. Yeah. So I was trying to touch. You know, you hold your hands like, with your hands. But then I was like, but what if I touch my palm with the back of my hand rather than the front of my hand, considering the back as the touching part?
Yeah.
And there was a huge shift.
There's a huge shift in that. For sure.
So it's not only joint support
no.
and muscular, it's also nerves and attention and perception.
A lot of attention, I think. Totally. Because I also think of, you said the eyes in the back.
Yeah.
And then I have been very busy with what if I take away the gaze?
Yeah.
Or I allow maybe my skin and my hearing to give them a little bit more value for a time than my gaze.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because then it's also like, what kind of information do I receive through those senses that I otherwise would have received through my gaze if I would have turned to look at it?
Yes. And it's nice that it still facilitates a lot of movement because it's not about eyes closed. It's about redirecting the perception and the awareness as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I also had like a thing with my feet as well because I think because I was like, wait, are the soles of the feet the back of the body or the front of the body?
Oh yeah, I've been busy with that also. Because they kind of have their own side, or I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, are they the bottom maybe of the body?
The bottom of the body.
But I was also, because I think I decided to consider them as the back. So then I was like considering like, okay, how can I be sensitive of the ground through the top of my feet rather than the bottom of my feet?
Wow. Yeah.
I guess I was reversing a lot. Like I was talking about the face being exactly the same place.
Yeah.
But also, it also begs the question, like, how do we move?
Right? I know that's the big question. How do we move? And also for me, it's like, how do we relate to each other and our surroundings and the environment we are in?
Yeah. And it's so constructed
it's super
as
constructed.
Well. Like, it doesn't exist. Like you say, like, is it really a bottom? Like, what are we, a cube? You know, like, do we have a top, a bottom, and a side? Like, I know like, lab and technique was really useful, but maybe it's also problematic because where does the front and the back begin and end? Like,
exactly.
and what is the side?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of inbuilt conceptual questions.
Yeah.
And like, think one of the questions I had like is what is the knowledge of the body, and how is that transforming and shifting when we do this practice?
Yeah, it was kind of from there that my interest in this started, like the knowledge of the body and how that is also being presented or not.
Yeah. But even to ourselves.
Yes,
I mean, and that's the crazy thing, right?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
We think we know the body, and I think that's what I was trying to suggest maybe with the new body question at the beginning. It's like, it's so easy to say like, oh, it's a new body. You've recognized new sensations, new pathways and stuff, but it's also just reworking those blockages or considerations or ideas and formulations.
Yeah, exactly.
And where is it going for you? Do you know? Like, do you have a trajectory? Like, how do you does it lend itself into an aesthetic that you're interested in, or I'm just curious?
It's kind of starting to become some kind of aesthetic that I'm interested in. I'm still very much in a research space, in a space of like not knowing but engaging in this, which I kind of love to be inside. Yeah. And it has already had an outcome of one kind of performance where we were 3 dancers. And I will continue working on that. It will probably turn out into a solo work also. And I'm busy with photos and pictures and text around this also right now. So it takes many pathways. Yeah. But it keeps me going. Yeah. It's a good motor. Obviously. Yeah. Because also I wonder like, how does it affect our sort of
understanding of knowledge as like a thing in itself, like how we recognize the world, recognize ourselves in the world. Just yesterday, Becky Hilton was talking about dancerness and how perhaps a quality of dance or dancers' knowledge is an operation for empathy, like moving towards empathy. And yeah, it strikes me as very, very embedded in that. Like you mentioned now photos and we're talking a little bit there is an aesthetic quality, but
for sure.
It's really curious how you sort of anchor it back, and you're like, no, it's but the practice is really rewarding and generating.
Yeah.
So there's something like that. We could extrapolate and start to say like, okay, but what kind of visual body does it create? But it seems like the important thing is actually how it transforms. I want to say knowledge. I don't know if it's a great word, but from the sensation of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm more interested in and more busy with the doing and the being inside of it than how it will look like or what it is looking like. That's like the byproduct of it. I think if you're really into the thing that we are doing, then it will turn out to look in a certain way because of you being busy with what you're busy with. And I think there is also something with the back for me that is very sensitive and maybe like vulnerable also, that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, and those qualities and things, like there's, it also returns me to like, we're always between these things of like, no, we need to honor the dance, we need to escape the power of choreography or rework the power of choreography. But then it causes me to think how like, but also there's a choreographing that goes on through that empathetical body. Yeah. That sort of, and by that what I mean is not that there's a choreography that is like a set regime within the bodies moving, but it produces a regime for those who have to encounter it. Yeah. There's a sensitivity and awareness that is sort of created through the practicing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there is where my interest lies.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Was there anything else that you had that you wanted to sort of bring up or return to?
No, I was like, again, when we were dancing now, struck by how much in my daily life, like outside of the dance practice, I'm kind of being so stressed and busy with so many things that it took me like half of these 10 minutes to just get rid of a lot of things before I could start focusing on the back of my body. And that just reminded me of like, okay, I need to, that's almost like a meditation. To like get rid of things and then come to to this very sensitive and part that needs a lot of attention. Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm bringing up a little bit all the extraneous things a little bit, like, okay, what's the aesthetic? Like a little bit pointing towards like what's around the dance, because like how do you support that space and conjure that space, like, and protect it in a way and allow for it to exist, because it is really hard. Like,
it is really hard.
Even when we have the privilege of having a dance studio to go to every day or something, to shed the stresses and anxieties of the world, and or even, you know, like simple practices of doing yoga every day or something, like having exercise in your life or being connected somehow is...
Yeah, I think it's super important. And one thing I do is that I meditate, and within the meditation I go to this idea a lot. And I think I also turn to my back as a way to kind of step away from from the busyness of the society and
Yeah.
the forward thinkingness
Yeah.
that is constantly around.
Yes. Yeah. Progress and
Exactly.
production.
Exactly. So
status, value.
yeah.
Yeah. And just to appreciate that even within the rut or the groove of our lives, there still exists a freedom and a capacity for change and plasticity or renewed control or emancipation.
Yeah, and I think it requires quite a lot of work to keep that present.
Yeah.
And I don't have a set way of doing it yet, but I try to find like different ways of.
That's nice, yeah. So even the method itself is so,
exactly.
so evolving and changing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because life keeps on changing, so then also the methods need to keep on changing.
Yeah.
And especially something that has to do with my own body and a bit rocking the way of relating to my body.
Yeah, that sort of ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I think of empathy, I often think of context switching, of like trying to broaden one's understanding of otherness by shifting context.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when I try to merge empathy, and I know there's kinesthetic empathy, which is very important in dance, but when I try to think of empathy in relation to dance, I sometimes like struggle. I'm like, okay, but how does it function? How does that internal gaze function as an external appreciation or thing? But it makes so much sense when you do it, right?
Yes.
Because exactly, like it's not only about accumulating newness to yourself, but also recognizing the situation that is in oneself, and by confronting where is front now, and maybe front is a very conceptual thing of like where is the center or the heart of what self is or value is.
There's a lot of questions related to that.
Yeah, and just by
flipping it around a bit.
Let's look at the back. Yeah. Let's look at the negative. What is trash? What is the waste? What is the overlooked? What is the shadow? Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with, I mean, both the things that you said about empathy, but also this with attention.
Yeah.
Like, where do I turn my attention? And attention is very momentarily.
Yeah.
So it's like a constant doing.
And how long, do you know when you started this specific practice?
I think the backspace has been an interest and unconsciously part of my work for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Now when I go back and watch pieces I made like a couple of years ago, and but then it started about a year ago. I read a text by Marie Bardet, who is a dancer and artist and philosopher based in Buenos Aires in Argentina, originally from France. And it's a beautiful text, and it's called Making a Front with Our Backs.
Oh, okay.
Where she speaks about basically everything that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And you can find it online, so I recommend everyone to go and read it. And that text really touched me, and it was for me also written in such a embodied way that I was like, suddenly someone like put the light on something that I've been busy with without knowing.
Yeah.
Or without realizing.
Yeah.
And then I started to dive deeper into it.
Yeah.
And have been working with that text a lot also.
I mean, and also, like you say, the method might change, but also maybe the wording, like maybe it's not back, maybe it's like something else. But what it occurs to me is like, and I think I know this from what I know of you and our relationship, is like that there is there's like a slowness, like, and a commitment to dance and to practice and to returning, and that slowness, and I've called it slow choreography at different phases of like an unperceivable attention. For me, it really speaks to a type of ethics where one has to continually attend to what one considers or has installed in oneself as good and bad, or recognizes like, or where those values sort of reside, and to really attend to them, like, okay, why am I leaning towards this more than this, and like, how do I really be conscious and appropriate with how I'm configuring my value system and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a lot of that, and I think it's also a lot of questioning it.
But it's slow, right?
It's like very slow,
or
it's
long,
slow.
or something.
It's
like.
low. It's ongoing.
Yeah, ongoing is a good word.
Yeah. And I don't think that it can be fixed.
No.
It will also keep on changing, and therefore the ongoingness is happening.
Yeah. I feel like we could continue, but, which is probably how I want to leave as well. I feel like it's such a generous practice. It's so like simple and clear, but I feel like what's really apparent and visual, or like like resonating with me, is that it's about returning, and it's a long process, and I really want to go into that. Like, so thank you for this gift. Thank you.
Let's dance more together.
Yeah. Oh, but before you go, if people are interested in like seeing your work or following you somehow, how would they do that?
They can do that on social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Vimeo.
Yeah.
And it's my name everywhere, Matilda Bilberg, so
great.
It's easy. Yeah.
And also you're at the MA in choreography, so you'll have shows coming up.
I will have shows coming up also.
In the spring 2024.
In April 2024.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Lovely.
Let's see each other again. Bye.
Bye.